Hey everybody, Mike here with Delta Faucet. If you're planning a bathroom renovation or even doing new construction, an audio speaker system can make all the difference in elevating your showering experience, and it's a project that we can help you tackle. Now in this video, we'll be reviewing the installation steps for the Delta audio speaker system. Today, we'll cover the audio control module and the speakers. Now when installing the audio speaker system, it's important to note that this can only be installed in conjunction with the Delta Steamscape Deluxe system. Keep in mind that building codes are different everywhere. It's also important to note that this install requires an AC outlet to power the module. If you do not have an outlet available, you will need a licensed electrician to help you add one. We also recommend you make sure you're comfortable with all of these steps by reviewing the video before fully diving in. Now, if at any point there's something that feels a little bit beyond your abilities, we also recommend contacting a professional for some additional help. With all that said, let's dive in. So the first step in the installation of the audio package is to determine where we want to install the audio module. Now, just to give you a lay of the land here, is the way that the audio module is going to be controlled is from the control panel inside of the enclosure. Now that control panel in the enclosure is connected to our steam generator, so we're going to be connecting the steam generator to the audio module itself. So we want to make sure we're choosing a location that allows that connection to be made. Second, we want to make sure that audio module is going to have power, so I've had my electrician go ahead and add an additional outlet here for that. And next, we want to make sure that I've run my speaker wires from my speaker locations inside my enclosure back to where I'm going to be installing the module. And finally, I want to make sure that the module is located close enough to my bathroom to ensure full Bluetooth functionality. But also keep in mind that the module does have RCA jacks as well as another 3.5mm jack to allow for the connection of external audio sources. So once you've determined the location that you want to install the module at, go ahead and have your electrician finish up any roughing requirements you may have behind the wall. Then you're free to finish up your walls, and we'll move on to the next step of the installation. Now that we have our walls finished, we can move on to installing our audio module at the location we determined during our rough framing phase. Now, on the module itself, you'll notice that one side has all of our connection points. So I want to make sure wherever I determine I'm going to mount this, that I have easy access to this side of the module. Also, the module has an attached power cord that's generally about 5 feet long, so I want to make sure that my final location can easily connect to my power source. Now for my installation here, I'm going to be mounting it on the wall just above my steam generator and my power outlet, somewhere right around here. Now once I'm happy with the location, I'm going to secure it in place through the 4 pre-drilled holes, 2 at the top and then 2 at the bottom. Once it's all secured in place, we can move on to making some of our connections. Okay, so we've got our module mounted, and now we can move on to making all of our cable connections. Now, it's important to note that before we connect our module to power, I need to ensure that I've made all of my connections on the module and also within the steam generator. So the first thing I'm going to start with is connecting my speakers. I'm going to take one of my speaker wires, and you'll notice that I've already pre-stripped the wire to expose the red and the black. I'm going to connect it to the respective lugs on the module itself. So the way the speaker wire works is the red goes to the positive terminal and the black goes to the negative. So starting with my left-hand one, I'm going to make sure I have the red in the positive and the black in the negative, then tighten down the lug screws to ensure a good connection. Next, I'm going to repeat the same steps for my right channel speaker. Again, making sure that I get the black cable to the negative and the red to the positive terminals. Then tightening down the lugs again. Okay. Now my speakers are connected, so I can move on to connecting my control cable. Now, the control cable I can connect to either one of these top ports. It doesn't matter, each one's going to function exactly the same. So I'm just going to choose a location, plug it in until I hear that snap, and then we'll be ready to move down and start making the connections inside our steam generator. Now down here at our steam generator, we're ready to connect our audio module to the generator itself. Now before I've done anything with the generator, I want to verify that the power is off at the breaker box to the generator. Once that's completed, I remove the cover to expose the control board inside. Now this control cable, the other end of which is connected to my audio module, I'm going to run down through one of my rear knockouts and then connect it to any available port on my control board here. And again, it doesn't matter which one, all the functionality will be exactly the same. Once you've selected one, I'm going to click it into place until it snaps, and then I'm going to use a strain relief clip around the wire to protect it through that knockout opening. With those connections made, I'm going to close up my side panel, and then we can move on inside our shower to install our speakers. Now we can move on to installing our speakers. So here we are in the shower enclosure, and you'll notice I've already have the holes pre-cut in my ceiling that the speaker is going to fit into. Also, I've run my speaker wire, the same one that connects to the audio module, up through my ceiling and then down through my speaker hole. Now the first step is going to be connecting my speaker to the speaker wire. And just like on the other side, the speaker wire has two sides, a red side and a black side. I'm going to make sure I'm connecting it to the respective red and black terminals on the speaker itself. So once we're ready, start with the red side. Make sure I have a good connection there. Same steps for the black side. All right, that looks great. So the next step is to add a bead of silicone sealant all the way around the outside rim of the speaker. That way, when I push this up into the hole in my ceiling, I can help ensure a nice watertight seal between the speaker and the ceiling itself. Okay, now that I have that sealant in place, we can move on to installing our speaker into our ceiling. As I push my speaker up, I want to carefully feed my wire up into the hole. Then make sure my speakers are lined underneath my hole I've got in the ceiling, and then gently push it into place. Okay, I've got my first speaker pushed up into the ceiling. So now I think it's a great idea to double check my installation booklet to confirm I have everything locked into place correctly. Once I've done that, I'm going to repeat the same exact steps for the other speaker, and then we can move on to making the final connections on our audio module. Now that we've made all of our connections, we can move on to reestablishing power to our system. So the first thing we want to do is turn the breaker for the steam generator back on at our breaker box. And I think it's a good idea to give a minute or two for the steam generator to fully boot up. Once that's complete, we can connect our audio module to power. I'm going to take the power cord and plug it into my power source here. Now once I've done that, you're going to see some indicator lights start blinking on the back of the module itself. Now what I'm looking for is seeing a solid green light for power. That means that the module is receiving power. And next you'll see that little amber light that indicates that right now there is a communications error. That's totally fine. It takes just a minute for the module to start talking to the control panel inside the shower and make sure everything's working okay. After that amber light goes away, you might see a solid blue light. What that light means is it's indicating that right now the module has full Bluetooth functionality. If you don't see that blue light, that's totally okay as well. Just make sure you check the control panel inside the shower to make sure you have enabled it there. Now, if that amber light never went out, that is indicating a communications error. So be sure to check your installation booklet for some troubleshooting tips. That about wraps things up. My last little pro tip might be to do a little bit of cable management around your installation area to make sure everything looks nice and tidy. We hope that installation went easy for you, but if you have any additional questions, be sure to remember you can always reach out to the Delta Faucet customer service team. They're more than happy to help.